Hello and welcome to the 100 Indie Artists Project. This is a music project designed for and by independent artists to help you firstly get to know some of the incredible musicians in your community, as well as get to know some insights and some tools that you can take on board with your own musical marketing journey. Tell us about who you are as an artist and your background.
How's it going? My name is Vintz Desert. I'm an indie folk singer-songwriter from the DC area. I have been involved with music my whole life. I started out in my concert band, marching band in high school, and then didn't really start writing songs until around 2017.
What musical projects are you working on right now?
So right now, I'm working on an EP that I plan on releasing in May. It's going to have 4 songs, a small little EP, and with that, I'm going to be releasing all sorts of content and other things. I'm not sure when this video will be dropping, but I don't really want to spoil it just in case.
Where do you feel that you're at in your musical journey right now, and where would you like to get to?
I feel like something that a lot of musicians talk about is finding their sound, finding their like identity almost, and I feel like I just discovered where it's at. I released an EP last year, 2021, and I was kind of figuring it out still, but it wasn't until after I wrote and recorded all those songs and released them that I realized that like I knew exactly what my sound was, exactly what I wanted to release. And so now I'm at the point where I'm stocking up on songs that I feel represent what I want to say and represent my sound. And I'm getting ready to release them into the world and push them out as far as possible. In terms of where I'd like to end up, I really want to be the type of songwriter that most people know, or like even if it's underground, like a lot of people know of. I don't necessarily want to be in the limelight or anything, but I want to be able to do this full time, share these songs and stories with people, and in many ways, not just through music, in a bunch of different mediums, and just to be able to continuously build this community, and to share these stories with as many people as possible.
What do you love most about being an independent artist?
I think the thing that I love the most about being an independent artist is the control you have. I have 110% control over everything I do. I mean, within reason. I can release 5 songs every single week of July or something. I could go on a tour and then immediately go on another one. Like, I can do whatever I want as an independent artist, and I think that's incredibly valuable. You find a lot of musicians who are in positions where they can't do things because of a label or the demands of an artist management company, and so I do feel as if I'm very fortunate to be able to control my career.
What do you find the most challenging about being an independent artist?
I think the hardest thing about being an independent artist is breaking through into the next barrier. You can be like huge in the underground scene, whether it's locally or like regionally, however, and that's all and well and really great. But I know for myself, I want to get into the next level of that, where I'm a name people recognize. I don't even have to be big, but just a name that people recognize in the genre. Playlisters can be like, oh yes, I know of this person, they released this song and it's incredible, or whatever. Venues trust that you can bring people in, or trust that people will come in for you. I think up until a certain point, it's almost like some entities might see it as like a gamble, which is understandable. But I want to be able to get into the point where it's not so much a gamble. And I think that's the hardest thing as an independent artist. You just don't have the resources to get into that next step.
What has been your experience in marketing and promoting your music?
Marketing and promotion is hard. It has been a good experience though. I've learned that making friends, talking to people, and also helping out with their music and marketing their music is really, really valuable. For one, it makes you feel less alone. and your friends might be putting out some incredible music, and you might want to share that music with as many people as possible. um, and two, it opens up so many doors having so many connections. And so with this last EP, most of the marketing and promotion was like word of mouth. I shared it with a lot of friends. A lot of friends know people, they know playlisters, etc. um, I did a few social media campaigns and whatnot, and that was those were also very valuable. But I would say that depending on how much you're willing to spend, um, it might not be worth it, because sometimes there could be so many things that determine if a promotion goes well, and none of them could have to do with the quality of the song. um, and so it really depends with doing like paid promotion things.
What has been one thing you've learnt along the way that has been the biggest game changer for you in music marketing?
I think the number one thing with music marketing that I've learned that has helped, is to talk to so many people. Talk to as many people as you can, but be genuine. It Like I said, it can be so valuable, um, sharing your songs with people and like sharing your story with people, because you never know who that person is talking to. They might get an experience or an opportunity and might want to bring you along. It might not be the right fit for them, but they know that you have this project you're working on and they think it'd be perfect. And so they move you forward. And it also shows that you're not alone. I know what it's like releasing music into the void, and not really sharing it with friends or anything. And it can be very daunting and isolated. So I think the number one thing for music marketing is just talking to as many people, having genuine conversations, caring about their projects. That can really take what you're doing and push it to the next level.
What has been your experience with building a fan base and what have you learnt along the way?
With that, in terms of building a fan base, I always tell myself like, oh man, who would want to be uh, a fan of mine? I feel like I'd be like a terrible like fan leader, if that's even a term. I don't know. But anyways, I think that also goes into talking to people. Whenever Within reason, whenever somebody comments on like a post on Instagram or wherever, I try to connect with them and talk to them. Um, and I think people genuinely really like when their favorite artists connect with them, or when somebody that's going through a similar experience is connecting with them. So I would say that building a fan base is, it shouldn't be so much like I'm the performer and you're the fan, but I think it should be more of like, um, almost like we're friends. Like you happen to like what I'm doing, and I really, I don't know anything about you, but I would love to learn more about you, and I appreciate that you love what I'm doing. um and so I think having genuine connections with people, um and talking to as many people as you can, and also playing shows too. Playing almost any and all shows that you can be extremely valuable. Even if it's to like five people at a bar, you might make five super fans, and those super fans could help you for the rest of your career. Um, Connecting with musicians, playing as many shows as possible. I'd say that's the best way to build a fan base. It's always better to have a dedicated fan base that knows you, knows your story, trusts you, um, as opposed to a fan base that, even if they're a little bit larger, they might not like know your story, they might not know you that well, because you really do never know. And I would say it's more valuable to have that dedicated fan base.
Earning an income within music can be very challenging and often requires a diverse source of income streams. What are some of the streams of income you have relating to your music?
So in terms of source of income, I'm still getting into that myself. I would say playing shows as of now for me is the number one source of music income. Um, I'm just now getting into, sync deals, placements, and that can be a whole other world, a completely different world. Um, but it's if you can get into that, it would be extremely valuable. And I think with that, it's just a matter of building a portfolio of songs that you really think, can do well in your favorite videos, movies, TV shows, whatever. and pitching them and consistently, even if you don't hear back from somebody or somebody says no, it doesn't necessarily mean you're not cut out for it. It just means in that instance they're not looking for that, and that's okay. So keep building that portfolio, keep pushing. um, and I would say that's the most valuable source of income. Playing shows is also really good. Um, Income from streams can be good as well, but we all know, various streaming services that don't pay as well as we'd like. So it's kind of the type of thing where you might have to suffer for a little bit. You might have to lower your quality of living, sell some things here or there just to really push that next album or whatever. You could also do gig work like writing songs for people. I know of a great company that I write songs for sometimes. And I also produce and sometimes mix for people as well. So doing that can really get me through the months.
What advice would you give to an artist that's watching or listening to this who is beginning to embark on their own independent musical journey?
I'd say the number one thing, if you're first off, if you're starting out, congrats. Like being able to decide, okay, I love music, I love my music, I want to do this. That is such a terrifying thing. It is so scary because it's like you're putting yourself out there, regardless of your genre. You're putting yourself out there in such a raw form, and you're not doing it for free. You're spending so much money on it at first. And I think it takes a crazy amount of courage. So, congrats. In terms of advice, I would say just keep going. You're going to run into a lot of problems. There are going to be so many problems that come up when it comes to being a musician, especially in the beginning stages, and you just have to keep going. Always, always, always develop a team of people. People you love, people you trust, that you can go to for comfort and for advice. That can be extremely valuable. Push through the moments where you just want to give up. Whether you're just learning your instrument now, you're kind of learning how to songwrite, you're trying to figure out how to get your songs produced. Always push through it. Your problems will absolutely pass. And though a new set of problems might arise, but you'll get into this rhythm where you're like, okay, I know this is tough, but I know I can get through this. And you put your head down, you grind, and before you even realize it, you're through that problem. Um, and yeah, just keep going. Enjoy the process in the moment. In the meantime, too, being a musician is so fun. It can be so fun whether you're jamming, you're performing solo, whatever it is. It is such a great career. Um, but yeah, be honest with yourself. Give yourself a little bit of grace, but keep going as well.